Closet Cosplay, the podcast where we help you create con-worthy cosplays on a closet budget. I'm Michelle.
And I'm LJ.
Oh, and today we are going to talk about the pictures that should be up on all of our social media that are very overdue.
To say the least.
Because of certain circumstances, but we finally were able to take our pictures in our cosplays.
Yep.
And we just kind of wanted to share a little bit about how we put them together, how we took the photos. Maybe LJ can give you guys some advice on Photoshop and the after.
Oh, yeah. So we haven't done that quite yet, but I can at least reference the one that we did before. But yeah, so we did a couple costumes, which obviously I hope you just go ahead and pull those up. We did our Sonic&Shadow, our glam Sonic&Shadow, I should say, and our Bowsette and our Bowsette. And so these were ones that we had planned, obviously, to wear at cons, and we probably still will at some point, but with maybe some alterations since we've actually done a test run, which is really common. A lot of people will do these test runs before they go to the con that they're going to go to in the first place.
And yeah, we did get some insight, and we are sad that we couldn't obviously go to Mid-South Con and that this is the first time we've been together in months. However, I think putting the costumes actually together, because I don't think either of us actually even put the costume on after we got all of our stuff in from Amazon.
Well, I actually put on the Shadow outfit. I put most of it on. And that's when I had gotten the idea to be like, oh, what if I did ears? Which, if you're looking at the picture, you will notice we are not wearing ears.
Yeah, my issue with the ears that I got, and you can probably see this in the photo, but my jumpsuit, or my, what do you call that? Is it a jumpsuit?
It's a jumpsuit, technically, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what to call it, but
it's a jumpsuit.
The thing that I'm wearing is a darker blue color, and I know that Sonic is a lighter blue color and more red, and my shoes were almost a more maroon type color. And the ears I ordered were definitely the brighter blue.
Yeah.
They were not the darker blue. So my biggest issue was that they just did not match. They just seemed so out of place.
Yeah, which is totally fair and understandable. And one of a fix that you could always do, like if you wanted to do ears, which you definitely don't have to do that, is that you can get the white ones and probably dye them with some fabric paint. That you don't even have to do like a whole dye job. Just get you some blue paint of some kind and use it that's closest to the color. Now, I actually didn't have a problem with the color of mine. Mine were black and red, which totally is appropriate for Shadow. My problem was the way that the ears sat on the wig. Like, they didn't really have the best base on them, and if I was going to do it again, I would remove the clip, and I'm going to include a shot of what these ears look like in our, because there should be an accessory picture in there as well that shows all of our accessories, because you don't really get a great look at that from our cosplay pics that we took. But you can take those barrettes off. They're usually made pretty cheaply. Take the barrettes off, reposition them on the way that you want, or on a headband or something like that, and it's going to work out way better. So we didn't wear the ears for this time. We might do them differently for next time. Either way, the rest of the costume turned out really well, I think. There was only a couple. Did you have run into any other issues with yours?
Well, I don't think I did, and I mean the main thing is those heels are just so hard to walk in.
Yeah, so
I don't know if I could wear those at con. In a picture, sure, but walking around on a con floor, I think I might carry them in my hand or a bag just to like pop on for a photo op or something. But realistically, walking around all day, I don't think those would have worked.
Yeah, which is definitely one of the reasons that you do these test runs, which I would consider this a test run, is you figure out what's comfortable and what isn't and what you can tolerate. My heels, while I'm much more willing to sacrifice, function for fashion, I know a lot of people are not. Now, the issue I actually ran into with my shoes was not that they were necessarily uncomfortable, which I won't say that they were comfortable, but one of the reasons I had picked these shoes specifically was because Shadow has like these little red rings around his ankle, and these high heels that I had got had the little clip toe that kind of looks like the end of his shoes, and also had the ring around the ankle. Well, the problem is my jumpsuit leggings were so long that it covered up the ankle part in the first place.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things I'm like, I had chosen these shoes specifically for this purpose, and then you couldn't even see them. So, like, that's something that you would only discover in a test run once you have the items in. And there's obviously fixes for that. I could hem the pant legs, or just send them back and get different shoes, but if I was to wear this at a con, I would definitely just hem the pant legs so that you could actually see them, since that was the point.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And when I was piecing it together, I think I was mainly done with putting it all together. I walked upstairs and I remember you saying, like, oh, wait, where's your glove? And I thought, oh, okay. And I walked downstairs and I put the white glove on and I rolled it down to kind of make it look shorter, because mine were really, like, mid-arm almost. They were pretty high. And when I rolled them down and put them on and, like, came back out, I was like, I think that really makes it. Like, to have that pop of white in it just really seemed to add something extra.
Well, it makes it look less like because especially since we're doing, like, femme, glam, human versions of these characters and we didn't have the ears on, like, you need something that says, hey, this is a costume. And people aren't typically walking around with white gloves on.
That's true.
It sort of makes it read that way. My wig was fine, I think, for what it was. It definitely... And Amazon has it. Just fair warning, speaking of wigs. So Amazon wigs, a lot of the time, and I say Amazon like Amazon's producing them, but the ones you will find on Amazon a lot. The pictures that are taken of people with these wigs on, typically the person has trimmed the bangs already. They don't tell you that. Usually these things have very long bangs. Like, they come down, like, these came down to the top of my cheekbones, basically. So, like, I would not want that. And these I just pinned back with a bobby pin for now. Were I to do it again, I would probably have somebody cut them, because trying to cut even my own wig bangs never seems to work for me.
That stresses me out. And I think if we can move on, I think I ran into that same issue when we did Bowsette&Boosette. So I had a wig for Bowsette where I did not have a wig for Sonic. I just put my hair back in, like, these tiny ponytails that you can't really see the detail of in the photo, but it's like mohawk-ish almost.
Yeah, it's
laid
cute.
down.
It's a subtle, nice thing.
And with the wig for Bowsette, the bangs all covered my entire face, it felt like. And I thought, okay, I'm not going to cut this. I'm not that confident. So, yeah, bobby pinning them to the side, best solution there.
Yeah, it is. And if you're afraid that you're going to ruin the wig, like, a lot of people bobby pin those wigs. I see it all the time in
that is
cosplay.
my preferred method, is just to bobby pin it, because I'm so terrified that if I spend all this money and I cut this wig and I ruin it and I can never wear it again, I'm gonna hate myself.
Well, typically the wigs I get are cheap enough that if I ruin it, it's really not that big of a deal. But I actually ran into an issue with my wig on this, in that I could not find the original wig that I had purchased for it. Another reason to do a test run: do you have all of your items?
Yeah. Can you find everything?
Can you find everything? And I usually have all my stuff very organized, but if you listen to last week or the week before this last episode about me trying to find my Argyle tights, I literally tore up my entire every piece of cosplay box I had was completely torn apart. So I don't know what has happened to them, but it did not. I don't know where they went. So I'm missing that wig. So I repurposed, another benefit of having multiple wigs, a white wig that I used for my Mothra costume, which I also talked about in the episode about Blathers. So I repurposed that, and that was fine. Like, it doesn't have the best cut on it, but it worked well enough.
It was a white wig.
It was a white wig, which is pretty simple.
Right.
Let's see.
I think the white dress that you wore, the white, like, Renaissance-y dress, I would love to get that in black for mine, because now, granted, I do love my black formal gown that, like, I got super cheap on Amazon one time that they no longer sell, which is just tragic. But I wear that all the time, and I'm wearing it in the photo, and I do like it. But I think that if we did this together, I think that the cohesiveness of having the same dress in black would be really cool.
No, I agree. I think that would look really interesting. And I thought that your outfit looked really cute. I think that wig and the horns and the little crown went together, and it was just, like, dead on.
That was the thing, though. When I first put that wig on, I thought, I look ridiculous. Like, there's no way I'm going to pull this together. Because to me, like, by itself, it just looked really weird. And I mean, it had a clip-in ponytail, which is something I've never dealt with either with wigs. I never have done a ponytail wig, and so I was like, oh, I don't know how to place this. But I got that placed, and I think it looked okay, and I still thought it looked weird even when I pinned the bangs out of my face, like, and played with that. And then I added the horns onto it, and I thought, okay, that looks like more like what I'm going for.
Oh, yeah.
And it still seemed off, and again, come upstairs, LJ's like, where's your crown? And I think that's my problem. It's like, I forget stuff. I feel like I'm missing something, but I don't ever know what it is. And LJ's like, oh, immediately, that's the thing that's wrong.
I'm glad that I have a memory for something, at least.
There you go. And so I went downstairs, took the crown, we got it put on, which I must say, that wig I got, you said this, it has like a bump in it.
Yeah, there was a strange bump in the top crown, like literally on the crown of the head where the crown would obviously go.
Right.
There was a strange bump, and the way that this is another thing. It had a barrette much like the ears, where it's just a straight barrette, straight across, and like that's its base. And so like what was happening is it was causing it to tilt forward.
And the crown is heavier than you think it is.
Oh yeah, because it's solid plastic. Now I will say it looked super cute.
It's super cute, but it is heavier, and I think that clip was just kind of hard to get angled in a way that you wanted it.
It was. Now, it worked perfectly fine on mine, but I had a flat surface to work with, basically. Right. Or a slightly curved surface.
Right. Well, and I did really, really like the horns. Like, because I could place those and move those in a way that worked really well.
They looked great.
And they were light. They were so light. I mean, I thought those were going to be so much heavier, and so when they came in, I was so shocked to see.
So I would definitely,
how feather-light they
if
were.
you want to do a Bowsette, those horns are perfect.
They are great. They really are. They clip in well. They look good. I think they worked out really well. I was so happy with that. And, oh, I didn't tell you this, but that blue gem I had.
Oh, yeah.
On, pinned onto the corset, which is kind of a part of her costume. It's a tiny accessory that you probably can't even see in the photo, but it was part of it.
Accessory shot.
After I took that off, the clip of it like broke.
Oh no.
And so I thought to myself, I was like, oh no. So I know when I do that again, I'm gonna have to fix that pin, and I don't know if it's just a matter of it popped out of, you know, a space, and all I've got to do is, you know, play with it to get it to work, or I'll have to glue it or something. But it definitely snapped right off. So it was. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's got a cheap kind of pin on it.
And I noticed that with anything that has a pin or a barrette fastener, anything, a lot of them are very cheaply or poorly put on. So if you're going to have some sort of clip-on item of any sort, one of my main suggestions, and one of the things that I do a lot, is I completely replace whatever they have on there, or I just add more to it, because their base ones are just bad and cheap.
So how do you do that? Do you glue it?
Hot glue.
Yeah.
I'm from a hot glue family.
So you just go get the clips at like Hobby Lobby?
Anywhere, like I go to Michael's, and I have just like a little box of them, and just depending on like what it is, because a lot of times like something like the crown, I would put probably 2 of the little barrettes on there, or one of the wide barrettes, because then it's got more surface area to actually cling to your hair and stay where it needs to stay.
That's true.
So something like that, that's what I would do with it.
And maybe we do need to redo mine just because of how crazy that wig is.
Yeah, and
to get it to lay right.
One of the other things that I would probably do a little bit differently on mine, and it's interesting because this is something that I would not normally do, and I decided to try it because, you know, like I said, I will fashion over function any day. And I was just like, okay, well, I have suggested in the past that people, if they don't want to do a full-on corset, can get a corset-esque looking top. And so what I have in my Bowsette is not a full corset. It looks like a corset, and it has like a plastic boning in it, but it's not steel boning. You can't tight lace it, anything like that. It's just meant to look like a corset, but it had the nice little floofy side things.
It was so cute.
That was the reason I wanted it, and I think it worked well. But I would say, like, it felt very strange to me to be in something that was almost a corset, but not a corset. Really? Yeah, like, I would have found it more comfortable if I had just had a corset on.
Really?
Yeah, but
what was annoying about it?
It doesn't. So corsets are made to adhere to the curvature of your body. Like, that is the purpose of corsets. Right. When you have a fake corset, it's not really. It's not forcing anything into certain curves that it can flow along. It's sitting on the curves you just have. And so I'm a fairly curvy person. So it wasn't really sitting great on me. I would have preferred something that actually just hugged my body and stayed where it was supposed to stay.
Right.
So maybe I'm weird, but personally I find corsets actually pretty comfortable.
I can deal in a corset pretty well, and that black one I have, it's a cheaper one, but I can stay in it, you know, throughout a whole con. I can make it.
Oh, yeah.
The hardest part for me is I just slouch all the time. I'm a big sloucher. I love to slouch.
See, I'm sitting up, like, right now, I'm literally, like, sitting straight up.
I have to be very aware of my posture to actually sit up straight, because usually I'm, like, bent over, slouched down. So when I'm wearing a corset, it just makes me, like, hyper aware and, like, stick straight. So the fact that I don't have the greatest posture normally, it just, like, I'm sore.
Oh, really?
From sitting up all day. And so...
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, because it's, like, my normal posture is just slouched over, you know? Like, shoulders down, just slouched.
See,
and I know it's bad, but when you get into a corset and you're used to slouching and you have to sit up all day, it definitely, like, puts you in some kind of, you know, your back is just not used to that. And so... Not that it's a bad thing. You obviously need to sit up straight and have good posture, and I'm working on it. I need to get one of those, like, upright things that shock you into straight.
I had that. It was called growing up in Catholic school with nuns as teachers. That would get on to you for slouching. And I took 3 years of cotillion, where you had to be very proper, and you had to act like you had the string on top of your head. So, like, for me, sitting... the straight slightly forward is actually natural for me, because I was literally, like, trained to sit that way and stand that way, shoulders back.
So interesting. Yeah, where I did not have any of that training at
I had
all.
how to be a proper lady training. You know,
I'm not a lady.
South.
Apparently. It's tough.
But yeah, so I can definitely see that. So some people find corsets comfortable, some people don't.
Yeah.
There's some people who wear them 23 hours a day.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
So that's something I would do differently. While it looked cute,
I would just get a real
corset. And I would probably just take those things off the sides, the little floofs, because they're just sewn on. So just rip the stitch out and
sew it on
the other ones. Yeah.
That would be cute.
I would just do that. The heels I wore were comfortable, but they were also heels that I wore for my marriage certificate signing. So they were made to be something I could stand in.
Well, I was barefoot, but my dress touched the ground, and so I think if I got that other black dress that it would not touch the ground, I would probably
because we're about the
just
same
wear
height.
a flat for comfort, though, honestly.
Yeah, and that's the thing with those long dresses, you're gonna see the tip of the toe,
right?
Maybe
don't torture yourself.
No,
in my opinion.
If you don't have to, you might as well do flats or something that has. You know, I say flats, but you really technically shouldn't be wearing just straight flats. You should be wearing something with an insole in it. Even if you add insoles.
I'm the worst at that.
I am too. I'm awful
I'll wear
about
the
it.
flat ballet flats to work every day.
Me too.
Love
I
those
know.
things.
It's one of those things where my grandmother has real bad feet, and so she's always warning me about it. So.
Yeah, my mom does that all the time. She's like, you really need to put some arch support in that.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, we also took these photos outside.
Yes.
And thank goodness that cons are not outside, because I got hot.
I think I was sweating within 2 minutes of being outside.
Yeah, I got hot. So
that's that Mississippi heat for you. It'll get you quick.
Oh man, it's straight up just humid in Arkansas right now. It's absurd.
You just walk outside and you feel like you've walked into a shower.
Yeah, seriously, it's
like
awful.
Humidity is nuts.
Yeah, that's the way. Well, I live on a river too, so I get it real bad. Yeah, I get it real bad. Like, my hair is back right now because my bangs just want to curl. But so. That's definitely something to keep in mind, is even though you may not be outside for a con, those places heat up inside very quickly.
That's true.
So that's another thing. That's another reason to do a test run. Put your costume on and see how well you can tolerate a temperature.
Yeah, think of the season that your con is. And I do think if I were going to a summer con in this heat, I would wear that dress. I don't think I'd get the long sleeve option.
Yeah, that's true.
But that long sleeve option is thin, right? Like, it's very not thin. That hot.
No, it's not. I would be okay. I was less hot. It's honestly the wigs more than anything make me hot, because it's trapping all the heat.
I felt a lot hotter in that Bowsette wig than I did with my own hair as Sonic.
So that might be something to consider too. Is if you do decide that you want to wear something that has long sleeves or is a long dress or something, and technically layers are cooler than if you don't wear layers. So it's like a whole, it's this whole like science of air circulation, and it's a thing. I'm not smart enough to explain it, but it's a thing. It's why you see like over in the deserts and stuff, they're always wearing like the long, like Kurta looking outfits. It actually has to do with the way that the air circulates and like sweat and condensation. So anyway.
She says she doesn't know anything about it and talks about
it. I always feel like if I'm not an expert on something, I shouldn't talk about it.
That's fair.
But anyway, so if you do want to wear something like that, it can be a thin material, or just maybe pick something that doesn't have a wig, because a wig adds so much heat to how hot you are.
Yeah, and it's just, to me, wigs just generally are slightly uncomfortable because it's just not what you're used to. And some of them can be, like, really scratchy, itchy, and it's like, so you're hot and it's itchy or uncomfortable. And, I mean, you know if a wig's uncomfortable to you if you ever worn one. And, I mean, you just need to know. If I'm going to be out in the summer heat for any amount of time, I don't really want to wear a wig if I could avoid it. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you know whether you can tolerate a wig all day or not.
Yeah, and again, it depends on the wig. Do your test run. Sit around in that outfit for an hour. If you aren't sure, do it at least an hour to figure it out.
Right.
Because you might put it on and be like, oh, this is fun. And 15 minutes later, your feet are killing you, or something's itchy. So definitely give it a while. Walk around. Go take a picture.
Yeah, I think within 2 minutes of walking around in those heels, I'd almost twisted my ankle. So I thought, there's no way I'm wearing these.
Yeah, we had a very brief here's how to walk in heels lesson as we were trying to find somewhere to, which I'll tell you guys too. So I was taught how to walk in heels because I was not good at walking in heels either. And it has a lot to do, and I'm sure there's plenty of video guides you can go out there and look at, but it basically comes down to locking your heels, because people tend to want to roll your foot to the side as you're walking. So you just have to be a lot more cognizant of making sure that your ankle is straight when you're stepping down, and that you kind of want to point your feet out a little bit, but just not a lot. Like, you don't want to like clown foot it, but just enough to where you're not going to be tipping it on the inside, because you've noticed when people roll their ankles, they always roll it to the inside.
That's so interesting.
So yeah, if it takes a little bit of thought to do, but it does become habit if you walk in heels enough, and you'll save yourself. I busted my ankle, and it took 6 months to heal at one point.
Yikes.
And so it was real bad. So I'm very aware of how bad an ankle injury can be. Do not recommend. 0 out of 10. So practice walking in heels. That way you don't fall.
That is true. If you're planning on wearing heels all day, you better break them in.
Yep. Break them in.
And know how to walk in them, and be very careful, because, I mean, you almost missed a step when we were outside. It's like, look down.
Oh, look down.
Know where the steps are. I know some of those hotels they hold cons in. The carpets they use on the stairs, you wouldn't even know the last step exists.
No.
Which is scary.
Handrails. Hold on to your handrails.
Yes, hold on to the handrail. Be very careful.
And take lots of pretty pictures. And we took a couple pictures. And
finally,
yeah, we did take some pictures. And I'm going to. So we found a blank slate sort of background.
Oh yes.
And because we walked around trying to find some light, and I was like, oh, you've got these curtains. Let's do these. So you won't see the curtains because I will have photoshopped them out and replaced them with something more appropriate. But that's a good thing to do if you are going to be photoshopping these in any way, is to try to find a blank background. It does make it a little bit easier. Like, you don't technically have to, but there's less variation, and I can do it a little bit faster. Now, we did full body shots. We didn't do close-ups this time. I would like to do a makeup at one point, because the Bowsette makeup would be really nice, because I've got red contacts.
Yeah.
I've got little vampire fangs I can put in. So hopefully I can get those pictures out at some point too. But we are going to also include a close-up of all our accessories, because one of the fun things that I enjoyed about this was all the accessories that we had to go with it.
Yes.
I loved the little... my necklace that I'm wearing is actually 2 necklaces in one.
It looks so good. I would not have thought that.
It originally came with like a white gem, and I ordered a different necklace that had a red gem. And I switched them out.
That's so smart.
So
the creativity people do with their cosplays amazes me sometimes, with just what goes into it.
So that's the thing, is if you can't find one thing that matches exactly what you want, there might be something, like if they only cost you $5 a piece.
Switch it out, yeah.
Switch it out. It's not a big deal. So we figured out some things that we would do and figured out some things that we wouldn't do next time. And hopefully if we get to wear these for a con, we can do a before and after shot so I can show what we did and what we ended up with.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah. Until then, I think we'll be working on other suggestions. And if you have any other suggestions to send in for us to do, because we have a couple coming up, so definitely need some in the pipeline. Definitely send those to us. You can see those on the Anchor webpage or any of the links provided.
And if you are following us on Facebook, the Contact Us button in the top right corner will lead you straight to our cosplay suggestion form. So that might be the easiest thing for you if you follow us on Facebook. So just click Contact Us, and it's not going to do anything crazy. It's just going to take you straight to our suggestion form so you can start the process. And it's a very easy form with simple questions. We would love to put a cosplay together for you, or if you'd just like to see us put something together that you'd like to see what pieces we choose. That's what it's there for. So please just go give us a suggestion.
Yep, I'm excited to work on these couple that we've got, and hopefully you guys enjoy them as well. So until then, stay safe.
Absolutely. We will see you guys on the next episode of the podcast. Well, we will talk to you guys on the next episode of the podcast.
See, that's close, yeah.
See you, talk to you. Same difference.
Same difference.
Bye, guys.
Bye.